On tonight's episode, we discuss the Joker trailer, the new Terminator Dark Fate trailer, the Marvel Cinematic Universe upcoming, as well as the current DC universe. I'm Garrett.
I'm Nelly.
And I'm Nate. And welcome to the Aliens and Cowboys podcast.
Welcome in tonight, guys. Special night. Just Nelly, Nate, myself. We are missing Joe tonight, so Joe, big ups. We'll get you probably in a couple weeks. We're recording this particular episode Sunday evening instead of our normal Wednesday night. The reason being is I have a wedding this week for myself, and then I'll be out on a honeymoon for a week.
Garrett's not marrying himself.
Yeah.
He does have a fiance.
Yeah, she's not letting me podcast this week. This is the only night I have free. So I didn't want to go 2 weeks without having an episode out. So again, we're recording this tonight. This will be released on our normal day of Wednesday. If something pop culture breaks between today and basically halfway through September when I come back from my honeymoon, we'll cover it then. So
you'll find it on some other medium.
Yeah. And
it's not like we're breaking news.
We're going to break it down about 2 weeks late.
Where are you going for your honeymoon?
What's that?
Where are you going?
Going to Hawaii.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, she's looking forward to it. It's okay. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm in peak physical condition for the beach, but whatever. So
you don't got that beach bod?
No, I don't. For the podcasting bod.
Oh.
But I wanted to tell you guys again. So if you look for we'll have a week off in between, but this episode will come out. So again, if something breaks, pop culture, movie, anything like that, we'll get to it in 2 weeks with our opinions on it. One thing I also want to bring to you guys' attention is last week's episode. The original download was downloaded in air. So if you downloaded it and it only showed 56 minutes, we're missing some time there. I re-uploaded it to replace it. So if you go back out there and read down the D23 Expo episode, there's an additional 30 minutes on the front end of that. And what that will cover is our breakdown of the Matrix movie, the El Camino movie, as well as the Avatar, option. It's just some information like that. So we kind of give our opinion on some upcoming movies. So again, if you want that first 30 minutes, go download that again. Sorry, that's an error on our part.
Thanks, editor.
Do that again. Yeah, I know. That's my problem.
We dock their pay.
That's right. We need interns. But if you just wanted to listen to the D23 Expo part, then you're good. 56 minutes in. Again, fastest. That was our really fastest downloaded episode. So congratulations, guys, and big ups to you guys. We had the most downloads ever last month that we've had. So I think this pivot's working for us. So I had a great time.
Please keep shooting us feedback too. We really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And we do appreciate constructive criticism.
Just criticism.
And some topics too. Throw out some topics.
Yeah, if they want it, if they want it covered, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We do get some feedback. It's really nice. Like for instance, some of the listener feedback I got last week, this particular listener did not agree with me that I should be excited for the Avatar sequels versus The Matrix. And he argued that The Matrix would definitely be a better film. And, we discussed this in that episode last week about how this Matrix movie coming up really needs to be about the story versus graphics, right? Versus special effects, because they're not going to break any new ground with that. And, he did say that obviously everybody knows the Avatar movies are kind of the similar Pocahontas story, right? Invading force comes in, indigenous population. One of the characters falls in love with another person.
I haven't seen it, but I listened to the episode last week, nice. So I know what it's about.
Yeah, okay. But what about Pocahontas? You've seen Pocahontas, right? Yeah, so Avatar is about the same thing. What's nice, is... kind of. I mean, it's similar. What's nice, though, is the first Avatar movie is that story. What we're going to get now are 4 movies that aren't that story. So really, we don't know where they're going to go with this.
Like the colonization of America?
I don't know. Maybe. It's definitely a 4-parter.
Into Civil War. Is this American history?
I have no idea what they're going to do. I have not heard what they're going to do with it. But I'm just saying the idea that the Pocahontas movie is the basis for the first Avatar, right, 100% correct. There's nothing wrong. There's no argument there. What's nice, though, is the fact that we have the ability to open this world up and go 4 movies now going to a different direction. And so I think it can be a fresh story, a new story. And I wouldn't put it past James Cameron to pull a rabbit out of the hat. I mean, this guy's got Titanic. This guy's got Avatar. He has had 2 movies that were the highest grossing movies of all time at the time they came out. So, I mean, he can really,
produce a movie.
Yeah, don't underestimate him, right?
Yeah.
So that was some feedback. But I had a couple other people tell me that they were pretty excited for the El Camino movie coming up about the Breaking Bad story.
No kidding.
I don't get it. I'm not I will see the movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to not watch the movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch the movie. And I'm, I don't know where they're going to take the story to make it compelling. So, I don't know. You guys seen Breaking Bad, though?
Yep. That was a good one.
Do you guys really think that Jesse Pinkman has a good story to tell?
Not in a, hour and a half, 2 hour?
Yeah.
I mean...
Like TV movie? Is it really going to be like a widespread movie release? Or
It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix movie.
release.
Netflix.
Yeah, I don't know.
It can be hit or miss. Some Netflix movies, kind of like the one that came out, the Frontier.
Triple Frontier?
Triple Frontier. It was kind of overhyped. I mean, it was still all right, but...
It wasn't that good.
Not as good as I thought, especially with the cast they had.
Oh, the cast was great.
But...
Definitely not good.
I don't know. It could be 50-50
Yeah.
with this one, I think.
Well, speaking of upcoming movies, so the Joker dropped a new trailer, and I know they've come out and said the Joker's going to be rated R, so that's pretty good.
That's a great starting point.
Yeah. Can I go on the record and I can already tell you this guy's going to be the best Joker?
I could maybe agree. Yeah, he looks pretty dark and looks like he's going to play a good Joker.
I think they have a lot of things going for him in this Joker where they don't strictly adhere to any origin story, and it's an open world for them to like play in.
The fact that it's rated, and I guess I don't think the Dark Knight Rises is rated R,
I
correct?
think it's 13, yeah.
Okay, so the fact that this is rated R does allow them some leeway that either Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger couldn't go through, or even Jared Leto for that matter couldn't really do. So I think that this is really Joaquin Phoenix's. He can be out there as an actor, and I think that this is the perfect role for him.
Well, I'd say even Heath Ledger's was very grounded, but even this is like his origin story, which will bother some of the hardcore comic book fans because I think that they think it's kind of an irrelevant portion to his story where he's just kind of this natural force in the DCEU, and it doesn't really matter where he comes from, just his satanical, diabolical nature of this force opposing Batman. But I forgot where I was going with that point. But
Again, this is late at night. Sorry.
yeah, no, I don't know what. Well,
Let me ask you a question then. Maybe you come back to this. Do we think Batman shows up in this movie at all, or Bruce Wayne?
I think they do allude to it. There's a child that he forces his thumbs on to make a smile out of his face, and some are saying that that's actually Bruce Wayne as a child.
This movie.
Huh.
Okay, so obviously we know that there's a new Batman coming with Robert Pattinson. Excited for it. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna go see it. I'll give him a chance.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
I've seen Val Kilmer and George Clooney play Batman. It's not like he's going to be much worse than they were. So, in fact, I have hopes that he'll actually be pretty good. Dare to say that maybe it's not hard to think he could be is it possible that he could be the best Batman? I don't personally think Christian Bale's a great Batman. I think Ben Affleck's actually a better Batman than Christian Bale. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I really like Ben Affleck in the Justice League and the DCU better than I like Christian Bale's movies.
Yeah, I didn't like Christian Bale's.
No.
No.
I also really like Michael Keaton, but I'm just saying because I don't feel like there's unlike the Joker where everybody who's played the Joker has knocked it out of the park, that's not been the case with Batman. So is it possible that Robert Pattinson could really put himself up there on
I think
first
so.
or second base there?
Yeah, I think he can pull himself to the top.
It depends on what kind of setting they put him in, I think.
True, yeah.
Well, you've seen him sparkle before, Nate. You're a big fan of his.
Yeah.
He can definitely play dark and brooding.
Okay, to double back on your statement about all Jokers have nailed it, okay? Jared Leto in Suicide Squad?
I don't think he's bad, though.
Miss?
I don't want to say miss, and I'm not a big Suicide Squad fan. I've seen the movie. It was okay. It's not my thing. I'm not really a huge DC fan, but I don't think he was as bad as say a George Clooney played Batman. So
Okay.
I think,
give you that. Yeah.
I think that the worst Joker I would say is Jared Leto's Joker, but I would still say he's better than 75% of the people who play Batman.
Is George Clooney the one with Mr. Freeze? Arnold
Yes.
Schwarzenegger? Yeah, I think that's the only one
Yeah.
I fully saw in the old ones.
I remember what I was getting at earlier.
Okay, go ahead.
About being grounded, right? About how Heath Ledger's, he didn't have really white skin, going through the vat of chemicals like a lot of the origin stories for the Joker. Neither does Joaquin Phoenix, but he starts off in this world where he's a human and he's going through all these human emotions to then just come to this breaking point. And I think that part is really cool.
Like a failed comedian, right? That's what it shows him.
Yeah, but he also works at Arkham, which is interesting because we haven't really seen Arkham Asylum really impact other characters like it's going to probably impact him. There's that clip in the trailer where he's on the elevator, and I think he's a janitor at Arkham. And it shows him looks like he's going down with another guy, and the guy strapped to a gurney just screaming, and he's just kind of probably a bystander sitting in there going to work. And I think that that's something that this is really going to psychologically hit on, is that he works in a mental institution. At least it looks like he's working at Arkham. I could be wrong, but I think that that's his occupation, day job.
That could mess with someone's mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
And I think that obviously psychologically this will be our most in-depth look at the Joker. Prior to this was definitely Heath Ledger's. But the problem is, we've talked about before in previous episodes, he's just not you as a narrator, you can't trust him. So we don't really know what's going through his mind.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a guy that you're not going to have to guess what's going through his mind, because you're going to see it affect him firsthand.
So my biggest takeaway from this trailer, the final trailer, is you see this poor guy who's getting beat up on, and just all these horrible things throughout his life are happening to him. But in the end, we know what happens. He turns into the Joker. So what makes the audience flip from being like concerned about this individual to hating him the way people hate the Joker?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Okay, so there's some parts in the trailer kind of makes me think of a little V for Vendetta here, that he's going to become the anti-hero for a small amount of time. You see the clips where there's something against him and a politician, right? The politician, or the TV show host as well, right?
Robert De Niro?
Robert De Niro, I think, is a TV show host, but there's a politician that's on there too, that he essentially, I'm assuming, is trying to assassinate, it seems like, in the trailer. And maybe he does it on the show. I have no idea. But the point I'm trying to make here is there's scenes where other people are walking around with these clown masks on.
Oh, yeah, where they're protesting by the city hall or the courthouse.
It kind of strikes me as a V for Vendetta with the Guy Fawkes mask. It's like, this is like a revolution this guy's trying to spark. And I don't think they're pulling from their TV show Gotham, but I know, and I'm not fully caught up on Gotham, but there was the kid who I'm assuming is the Joker. He starts doing that laugh that he has in the show, and then you start seeing all these other people around town doing the laugh as well, or hear them laughing like that. And so it's just kind of like the effect that he's going to have on the crazy people of Gotham, and that Gotham is boiling at this point to the fact that they are crazy, and that there's a lot of people that he can corrupt, or a lot of people that he can influence. And obviously, if Batman does not exist yet, then we just have simple cops, and I don't think they're going to deal with this type of crazy. I don't want to say that he's going to be a criminal mastermind like Heath Ledger probably was. That'll be interesting if he's a little bit more chaotic. I mean, for as much as Heath Ledger's Joker made it sound like he was just the dog chasing the car, he seemed to 100% be in control and 100% have a plan. And that's, again, he's just not a narrator that you can trust in the movie. This guy, I feel like, is going to be way more chaotic because he's not the criminal mastermind, because he is a janitor, he is a failed comedian, and he's just simply going to snap. Thoughts, agreements, disagreements?
Yeah, I can see that.
It's just a normal guy that doesn't have any formal training or knows any tactics by any means. He just knows, lives and breathes the city and understands, how the people work there.
Yeah, I agree. Again, the fact that it's rated R will be nice, because you're going to see the violence in this movie that you don't get to see in any other portrayal of this Joker. Almost like the comic book violence, the killing joke, and some of these origin stories that the Joker has had, where he's violated, who is it, Barbara Gordon, and killed people like Robin or Dick Grayson.
The killing joke is the whole premise of that particular story arc, is that he captures Barbara Gordon in order to make Jim Gordon insane, right?
Correct.
That everyone is one day away from going crazy and becoming just like he is.
Right.
I like that too.
Which is interesting, because there's this movie, and not to get into this movie, it's called Falling Down with Michael Douglas. And I don't remember his occupation, but it just is like that day where I think it came out in either the late 80s or early 90s. And he's just an everyday worker who just snaps. And he's walking around in the briefcase with a baseball bat, and he goes in the McDonald's, and he freaks out about being in line, waiting for his food. And I mean, this is kind of what this character seems like he's going to be, is that this iteration of the Joker. I guess the next question I had is, do we know his real name?
Something Fleck. Arthur Fleck.
That's right.
They gave him a name.
That's right. Is that comic book? Do we know?
I don't know the comic books well enough to know if they did that or not. I read something about if you take his initials A and Fleck, Affleck, for the old Batman. So I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. But he's long gone now from that role.
I wonder if Joe would know. We'll ask Joe in 2 weeks. I mean, we could probably look it up, but whatever.
It's too
anyways,
late. Too late for that.
No, so I think this movie is going to be good coming out, and I'm excited for that. New trailer for Dark Fate, Terminator, came out. Everybody see that?
Yep.
What do you guys think of that?
That looks good. I haven't seen any of the other old Terminators. I think just the second one is the one I saw with Ryan Patrick.
Yes.
But is that you said the first two and then this one are?
So the first
together.
two and this one are the only ones that are considered
Okay.
canon anymore. Or at least James
Right.
Cameron canon.
Okay. But yeah, this one looks pretty good. I think I'll go out and see it.
Yeah, brought Linda Hamilton back, which is obviously really a smart move.
This trailer really made me want to see this way more than it did the first teaser trailer that I saw.
Yeah.
There
I can agree.
there were some scenes in this that I feel like it worries me that they put these scenes in here because I almost feel like they're the best parts of the movie. There's a particular scene where I'm trying to think. I have to look up what the lady's name is.
I had I had 3 parts that I
Okay,
thought
go
were
ahead.
really cool.
Get
from
into
that.
yours, and I'll come in with mine.
Let's see here. Okay. Well, one comment I was going to make about the protagonist Terminator,
Okay.
the she Terminator, that she's an enhanced human. That idea is taken like directly from the Christian Bale one.
Term Salvation, correct.
Salvation, right? A little
Yep.
bit different, but
Yep.
essentially the same thing. So I mean, they're kind of stealing that. And then the new Terminator now, what looks like a cross between the T-1000, the liquid one, and the typical T-800 skeleton too, but to have actually 2 Terminators in one. A little bit like the Rise of Skynet. Is that what it's called? I think the Rise of Skywalker.
Genesis.
Genesis?
Genesis. And that's where it's
Yeah.
nanotechnology. So
Right.
what we know, and it's Robert.
It's not like there's new ideas
no.
here.
By the way, it's Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick. What
Yeah.
did I say? Robert Douglas.
You said Patrick. I think you said something, Ray Patrick or something, but it's Robert Patrick was the T-1000. So this particular movie, it's the Rev 9. So it's Gabriel Luna. He's an advanced Terminator sent back to terminate Danny, okay, who's played by Natalia Reyes. And we don't know why that this girl is being targeted. It's very possible maybe she could end up being John Connor's daughter. We don't know. We still have yet to see John Connor in any of these trailers, which again is making me think that this guy is dead. If they just don't kill him off before we even see him in the theater. But there's these scenes where Mackenzie Davis, who is Grace, and it's basically a soldier assassin who's a converted cyborg, okay? She's fighting with the Rev 9 in a border patrol station.
Oh yeah.
And she has a chain. Mm-hmm. And she starts whipping him with the chain and it cuts him in half. And he just sucks back up. I mean, that's a really neat scene that we have not seen something like that yet in a Terminator movie. Why would they put that in the trailer? Like, that's some of the stuff where I'm worried that they put some of the best action. There's a scene where Schwarzenegger, classic Schwarzenegger, there's always a scene in Terminator movies where Schwarzenegger puts a gun, or somebody puts a gun next to the villain Terminator's face and just starts shooting at it, right? And they did it in the first Terminator. They've done it in every Terminator since, specifically where Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2 it's on when he's on the cryogenic, or basically the semi with the liquid nitrogen in it. And he just puts the gun to the T-1000, the M16, whatever it is, and starts firing. And you just see basically all the bullet holes hitting the sky.
Yeah, yep.
And so he does that on the plane, and it shoots basically the Rev 9's face off.
That was one of my cool parts where he grabs him and slams him down to the ground and then just unloads the full clip into his face.
But it's like that's a Terminator thing that exists in all the movies, and it worries me they put that into the trailer because I'm getting the point that they're putting the best parts in the trailer.
I hope it's not one of those movies. I don't like when they do all the good
because
parts.
we know the bridge scene is going to be an action-packed situation.
And that was my other one.
Where she
Right.
said the line too. Didn't
Yep.
she? I'll
Yeah.
be back. And
Yeah.
And how she does it. So if you watch the trailer, You assume that the Terminator went down over the edge
Right.
along with some sort of vehicle. She drops a grenade. You see it blow
yeah,
up,
yeah.
and then she goes, "I'll be back." She's gonna go and check and make sure it's still dead. That's a cool
The
part.
other scene too before they go into the border patrol or wherever they're at, he just walks in and he's just taking them all out and looks all bloody and gory.
I just like how he walks through the metal detector and he says, "You can wand me," and it's just like pure metal.
He gives up his weapons, right? And the line is, he goes, "My whole body's a weapon."
Yeah,
That's so cool. And then you see him tearing through
everybody.
guards
Gory,
left
yeah.
and right.
Okay, so the most successful Terminator movie is Terminator 2, right? And that was Arnold Schwarzenegger is the good guy, Robert Patrick's the bad guy, and he's more advanced. But the benefit is he's not that much more advanced than Terminator was. It was Terminator 3 where we started having these machine robots come back and try to kill John Connor with almost like Inspector Gadget type weaponry, right? And this new guy, Rev 9, even Jason Patrick, I think maybe is the guy from the sixth one, Genesis, that he seems to have nanotechnology. It's like these guys are so far advanced than the T800 or T1000, T800 model. I don't know if it takes away from the movie that this guy is so like he seems to be way more liquid metal, like way more into the T1000 mold than he is into the Terminatrix from Terminator 3, right? For what we can tell, he can definitely shift into two different Terminators at the same time. But it seems to be much more about my weapons are my hands, I'm liquid metal, and they play off that. Not that he's turning his arm into a grenade launcher.
Right.
But do you think it's because they learned their lesson finally, that the Terminator can't be so far more advanced than Schwarzenegger's model? Because it kind of takes away from the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. They play with those rules so much about you can't bring weapons through whatever the timeline or whatever. Well, the timeline itself is a huge problem in Terminator because you get so many of these paradoxical questions about, well, if you killed John, then how could his mother then had somebody else, or like weird stuff. But I don't like the Terminator 3 where she could turn any machine into like under her will the whole time, but he could somehow fight it. That doesn't make much sense to me. Then there's Genesis. I did not like that at all because he was technically still human, kind of.
He was,
right? And he just got drunk with power was kind of the concept.
No, he was nanotechnology, so he was just...
But he was still himself, but his personality changed as I'm essentially invulnerable.
Yeah, he basically got infected by nanotechnology, though, and became nanotechnology, which made him so you couldn't destroy him. But,
yeah.
I don't know. Bottom line about this particular movie, and my position on this is very well known by now. I'm going to see it. I love these movies. I have faith in James Cameron. I just wish we don't kill off John Connor. If you don't want him to be in the movie, that's fine. Don't put him in the movie. You can just say he exists somewhere else, like he's in location X. But let's not kill him because he is the most important person of the story. And I'm not saying he needs to be the best actor or the main character of the movie. You can have this lady, Natalie Reyes. You can have this Mackenzie Davis. Like, you can have them be the main characters. Linda Hamilton.
It all started with him. So,
Right, but just don't kill off John Connor is all I'm asking.
It's a Game of Thrones switcheroo where you have Daenerys for 7 seasons or whatever, and then say, no, wait, she's a bad guy. And then just automatically switch with, like, no context or anything in the plot.
Skynet's going to be like, oh, we really messed up.
We
in
changed
the
our mind.
other person. Right. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the theory is that this is going to be John Connor's daughter, which... Whatever.
when's it come out?
I don't know. November, maybe? December? Doesn't matter. I'm going to see it. It's
Yeah.
going to be good. Let's go to... So, nothing else really much planned. Let's talk about the MCU. So, we talked about the Disney 23 Expo, and we talked about the upcoming Disney Plus, really, lineup. But let's talk through a little bit of the upcoming, movies for Phase 4 coming in the future of Marvel. So some of these movies that we can discuss are going to be things like Black Widow, standalone film.
I'll watch it.
Eternals, Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, the new Thor, which will be Love and Thunder Thor. So it's going to be Natalie Portman, correct? Yep. Black Panther 2, the new Blade, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and the potential for things like a Fantastic Four film, a Deadpool film, an X-Men film,
Captain Marvel
Captain
2.
Marvel 2.
What about Morbius? You guys hear about that?
No, I don't know
think
anything about that.
they've separated that now
Is it?
into like its own category, the Spider-Verse now.
I just caught my eye because Jared Leto is supposed to be playing that
Okay.
guy in there.
That one looks good. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
So, talk to me about Black Widow. Are you guys excited for Black Widow?
I'll watch it. I'm not familiar with it, but
It's crickets. Like I'll watch it because ScarJo's in it.
Well, I mean, it's gonna, yeah. But I think that the problem is this movie should have came out years ago. When everybody else on the original team, except for, I guess, Hawkeye, got their standalone films, they all should have had standalone films.
is she in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I don't believe so.
I thought I read
I
something
haven't
that
watched the
she-
show. Now, you know what? And the thing is, years ago, they could have done a Black Widow Hawkeye movie, just the two of them, as like secret agents, right? Because this movie is going to remind me of other female spy thrillers, like Atomic Blonde and Red Sparrow. And I feel like that this is all these movies are going to be, is a female spy movie. And not to say that Scarlett Johansson's movie wouldn't be good. I'm sure it will be good. But I don't see how it's going to be necessarily different than these particular movies that we've had in the last couple of years.
And have had like, would you say mediocre success for those?
I would say
Atomic Blonde, I would say definitely.
I liked Atomic Blonde, yeah. I've seen most of Red Sparrow. So far, it's not great. Atomic Blonde was good, though. And this other movie, not really in the same vein as these spy thrillers, but definitely a female revenge story called Peppermint with Jennifer Garner. Pretty good, but not as good as it probably could have been. I would say of the three, Atomic Blonde is the best.
Really?
Atomic Blonde's not bad. It's pretty good. But that's a 1989 spy thriller that's supposed to exist in the same universe as John Wick.
You know what I watched recently with Aaron? Is it Long Shot? With Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron?
Okay.
It was pretty darn good. It's a long movie
That's
for
where
what it
she's
is.
president or something?
She's Secretary of State and she wants to win the bid for the next presidential race. And it is pretty darn funny.
Nice.
But anyway, give it a chance for a date night.
Maybe. How about, let me ask you this. If Black Widow comes out and they go to the theater, are you going to see it in theater? Like, is that a movie you need to see in theaters?
No. I'll
Black
wait.
Widow? Yeah, I can wait.
You can wait till it's on Disney Plus. Okay.
Yep.
What about the Eternals?
I don't know anything about the Eternals.
I don't either, but the cast is huge.
Yeah.
So Richard Madden, Angelina Jolie, Kumail Nanjiani. Who else was big that they just Selma Hayek, and who's the other one? Kit Harington. They just announced.
They were cracking jokes about him advancing his career so well and jumping out of being typecast. And the joke was, naturally, he plays a knight from Game of Thrones for 8 seasons, and he's going to play the Black Knight in the MCU.
Yeah.
It's a real stretch.
I'm not knowledgeable about the Eternals, but it's a pretty large cast for a movie. It's almost like another Avengers assembly here. But it's an interesting cast of people, especially personal favorite. I love Angelina Jolie, one of my all-time favorites. Really interesting that she's going to be in this movie because she's also going to be in the next Taylor Sheridan movie. So super excited about that.
Which is what?
I'll have it by the end of this podcast.
The Eternals sounds like everybody's just immortal and like it's a whole other magnitude to where like the
Aren't they
Avengers
gods? I think they're supposed to be gods.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's
This is what we need. This is where we need Joe. Thanks, Joe. How about Shang-Chi?
I don't know who asked for that movie. I think they jumped out of nowhere with this and are now trying to chain in the Mandarin. That's been teased for so long.
Okay. Yeah.
Hence the 10 rings.
Yep. Okay.
But Shang-Chi, I don't know.
Oh, by the way, Black Widow was in S.H.I.E.L.D. Just looked it up.
Thanks, Nelly.
Nelly was right.
Nelly's coming in strong here.
Put him on the board.
Had me thinking. I was like, did I read that wrong?
No, that's good. I am excited for Doctor Strange. I'm a big Doctor Strange fan.
So did you hear it's going to be the first MCU horror film?
Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They're going to make it... I'd be interested to see how they do that.
Well, they're going to tie it into the... I think they're going to tie it into the WandaVision movie. And by the way, did you see the poster for WandaVision? So it looks like it's a poster for a 1950s sitcom. Okay?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be part comedy, part like Avengers movie.
I'm so not interested in watching that.
Oh, but I read about it. The more I read about it, the more I am. So from my understanding, Vision is going to, as a way to try to have a normal life, he's going to create kids, like robotic kids essentially. And they're going to try to like blend in as a family. But the poster has these like dark shadows that are cast over the two, characters, Wanda and Vision, or Scarlet Witch and Vision. And it just, the way they talk about this, the nice thing about it is something like this has never been done before. And it's way better, I think, to go this route than to just put them into another Avenger-style TV show. Because we've seen that over and over and over again. And so the problem Disney's going to have is if they keep making these Shang-Chi's and these Eternals and these Doctor Strange movies, if they're all going to be the same thing, that's eventually going to get old. Whereas this type of route is definitely different. But a 1950s, like, I Love Lucy meets the Avengers could be pretty good.
Yeah, but do you think that Disney's sitting there doing, all right, as a business strategy, we need to diversify. All right, we're going to take the MCU comic book world. We're going to have our action genre. We're going to have our mom and pop 50s sitcom. We're going to have a horror film. And they're like, all right, what other genres do we need?
Well, no.
Do you think they're sitting there doing that?
No, but I think they do. I mean, look, I think that they, in this next phase, because you lost all your A-list talent, they have to come up with something. Because I'll tell you right now, if you gave me an Avengers movie with what's left of the cast, are you going to see that movie? Outside of Guardians of the Galaxy, there's really no big name people left. You're talking Elizabeth Olsen. Vision, died, so I don't know how he's coming back. Even if you bring in Jeremy Renner and Black Widow, those aren't even superheroes. So are we really talking about, we don't have Captain America, we don't have Iron Man. Like, what's worth watching as much anymore? And Spider-Man, we don't have Spider-Man anymore.
Well, it's a perfect time for Phase 4 to rebuild.
Yeah, he's there, but the problem with Hulk movies are they don't do well on their own.
Hulk smash.
Yeah, exactly.
But you need to get reinvested in like new characters. I think you're right.
Well, and I think they're trying to do that with Eternals and Shang-Chi.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't think that. I mean, and I don't know those characters, and so they might be very big in the comic book world. But
I didn't know who that was when I googled MCU.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: you could tell me Iron Man, you could tell me Captain America, you could tell me Thor, you could tell me Hulk. I've heard of these people. Average people, everyday normal people who aren't comic book fans have read these, know who those names are, right? I don't know any non-comic book readers that are going to know who Shang-Chi is. If you ask me on the street if I know who Shang-Chi is, I probably think he's from Mortal Kombat, and that's assuming that it's a male, right? But like Thor, it's great, and they're bringing Natalie Portman in, but
I think that could work.
Sure.
It's worked in the comics.
But what if it fails?
Is this the female Thor?
Yeah.
Okay.
What if it fails? Like, as popular as Chris Hemsworth is now, is it worth... I mean, the first Thor sucked. The second Thor wasn't that good either. So they got lucky with the third Thor, and now they're going to switch it out and put in Natalie Portman, which I like Natalie Portman. Big fan of hers. I'm
Which
just not
one's
sure.
Ragnarok?
That's the third Thor.
That's the third? Okay.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if that's going to be a successful switch.
I have high hopes for it. I don't know if it'll extend to, 3 female Thors and, new Avengers and to that extent. But
So she's supposed to be playing like actual Thor, or is it like another person in that
No,
universe?
she's going to
Like
be Thor.
Like just a female Thor?
yeah,
No, but not just a female Thor, like Thor.
Thor.
She's
It's like
going-
a mantle that they can pass around.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
more or
she
less.
is Thor, not someone like Thor. She will become
So
Thor.
whoever has the hammer is Thor in the show, or what?
I don't know the story. How
Not
that
even
goes.
the hammer is specific to Thor
Yeah, because
necessarily.
Captain America wields it in the
that's
in
true.
the
And he
Endgame.
gets Stormbreaker as well. So.
Yeah.
I'm a little behind on the MCU.
No, that's okay. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain now that you asked the
but
question.
But she is. Yeah, thanks, Joe. But she is Thor, So let me ask you this then: Black Widow, Eternal, Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, Thor, Love and Thunder. Are any of those 5 worth going to the theater for before they get to Disney Plus?
Doctor Strange, maybe for me.
Maybe. So that's 20% of the next potential 5 movies coming out from Marvel are maybe to go to the theater.
But they might be collecting $16 a month from me for
no.
the
But
next
that was my
4 years
but that was
or
my
whatever.
point to our conversation last week about
Right.
putting it on Disney Plus right away versus releasing it in the theater, because I do think people will go see Black Widow. I think it will be a successful movie. I think that they know that their next phase will not be as successful as Phase 3. I think they're going to get.
I think it's rebuilding,
I think
right?
they're gonna, yeah,
It's
I think they're,
cyclical,
I
so
think
you
they're
gotta rebuild
going through a
again.
draft here. You know what I mean? They're redrafting. But I'm saying
It's a draft year.
yeah, but I'm wondering if they're drafting wrong. And the reason why I say that is I'm wondering if they wouldn't have done better had they gone to a X-Men movie and rebooted it from their perspective. I know that Dark Phoenix did really bad,
Yeah.
but they're going to reboot
It's
it.
too soon.
Think so?
Aren't they? I saw hints of New Mutants.
Yep.
And this is that a TV show?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit different thing.
But
it's not big screen.
no. But think about this. So that's Phase 4. Here's the ones that are in development, though, that we know that are going to come. Black Panther 2. Okay, that's going to be worth it. That was a very good first. Black Panther was very, obviously successful, huge successful.
Yeah.
The new Blade.
Really looking forward to that.
Yes, agreed. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I enjoy those films, but I can wait till they're
Honestly,
available.
I didn't even know that was a part of MCU.
This is Nelly, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nelly. Captain Marvel. Didn't see the first one.
Still need to see the first one.
Probably not going to see the second one. I'm not a fan of Captain Marvel. Wasn't a fan of her character in Endgame. It's not because she's a woman. There's a ton of other women.
She outpowers everyone
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so there's a scene in Endgame, Nate, remember, where all the ladies get together, right?
Yeah.
And awesome scene. Do you know who I didn't care was in there? Captain Marvel, because I knew nothing about her, didn't care about her.
Well, you didn't see her movie.
Didn't
That's
see her
why I
movie.
don't care about
But
her.
this came out, this was filmed before her movie, right? Fantastic Four. That's probably enough to get you to theaters.
Maybe if it has the duo, Jim from The Office and Emily Blunt.
You think so?
I don't know. I've seen some
Rumors?
clips and images of people putting their face on Fantastic Four bodies.
Is it supposed to be a reboot or is it
It's a reboot.
Okay.
How about Deadpool?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the first two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Nelly, let's talk. Did you see Black Panther 1?
I did.
What'd you think?
It was good. I liked it. I'm a
You
fan
good?
of Michael B.
Michael B. Jordan?
Yep.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be in the next one because he died.
Spoiler alert.
So, Chadwick Boseman, who plays
Black
T'Challa.
Pan-
Yeah,
yeah.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
I'm just curious where they'll go with this one.
Yeah,
But
I'd like
I-
to see the new villain.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really familiar with Black Panther's villains.
Same here. And I think it will be... I know there's a lot of people wanting Michael B. Jordan's character, Killmonger, to somehow be, brought back.
Yeah.
I don't think they should do that, even though he was really good. But Blade. Let's talk Blade. So, Mahershala Ali, going to be Blade.
And when you say Blade, are you
Blade.
Blade?
Blade.
Wesley
Which, by the
Snipes
way,
Blade, right?
speaking of this,
Yeah.
did you know Blade was the very first ever Marvel Cinematic Universe movie?
Not MCU movie,
But Marvel Productions.
Yes.
Marvel Productions. The
We
first
talked
movie
about
was
that,
Blade. Yeah, Wesley Snipes.
They said that it paved the way.
Yes.
I think the
So-
second one back then was my favorite.
Blade 2?
Yeah, Blade
You
2.
like Blade 2 the best?
Yeah, I like
That's
that
a
one.
hot take, man.
And nobody likes Blade 3, right?
I like Blade 3.
Ryan
Did ya?
Reynolds.
Ryan
and,
Reynolds. And what's her name?
Seventh Heaven chick.
Jessica Biel.
Jessica. Thank you, Nate. I thought.
I just watched an episode of her in New Girl.
Okay, Blade 3's great. Blade 2, Nelly, hot take. We'll debate that off camera. But
I'll watch.
so, do we? Okay, because we debated whether, like The Mandalorian would be PG-13 or whatever rating they'd give it. Blade has to be rated R, correct? We agree with
I think it
that.
has to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Which means that they can't possibly put it on Disney Plus. Straight
to Hulu.
I mean, yeah, they'd have to put it on Hulu.
Well, not straight to Hulu. Theater and then Hulu.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to go to the theater. But I'm kind of interested to see if this will spark a film series here. And I kind of want them just to remake the first movie because the first Blade, if you haven't seen the first Blade in a while, go back and rewatch it. It is excellent.
it's getting a little dated a little bit with the CGI. So when you meet, spoiler alert, when you meet the Blood God, just say it was filmed a long time ago.
But do you know who they need to bring back in this movie? They need Donald Logue to come back. He plays Stephen Dorff plays the Blood God. Donald Logue plays the guy that gets his arm cut off like every 5 minutes. He has to be in this movie somewhere because he's excellent. No, but that's a really exciting movie. So I mean, their Phase 4 not great, but potential Phase 5 or Phase 4 extended, pretty promising. And this is just Marvel. We're not talking Star Wars again, but the point is, the next 5 movies they have coming out, not really getting the meter moving. Like I'm not caring to go see it. You know, I don't think I'll see
it's not moving your meter.
It's not moving my meter.
So these ones you named off, they're in production.
Blade's coming, but we don't know
no
when.
dates on it.
Right.
Neither with
they're
Deadpool
gonna, right.
either? Okay.
Yep. Same thing with Fantastic Four. Do you have so Nate? You said Krasinski and Blunt for the two. I'm assuming Fantastic and what's her name? Invisible Woman.
Yeah, the Invisible Woman.
Is that what her name is? No,
I don't know.
Sue Storm.
Sue Storm.
Right?
Yeah.
I
The
feel like
Invisible Woman? Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman?
I have no idea.
It's something close to
Yeah.
that. I used to have the original comics. That used to be
Then
those.
what? Then you have no knowledge.
Oh, I know.
So let's just play this though. Who do you want to play? Who do you want to play the characters? Who do you want cast in this movie?
A tough guy.
Like who?
For the Thing.
Yeah, but who?
You can't get an A-lister like The Rock. He's just too much of a figure to play.
Think so?
Not himself.
It is.
It would be a voice.
It is Sue Storm.
Yep.
The Invisible Woman.
You're welcome.
Are we both right?
It's the Invisible
Beat me
Woman.
to it.
But
Yeah,
Sue
so we're
Storm.
both right.
Yeah, but I never read the comics.
Okay, but we're both right. I'll end up. Okay.
Who could play a good Thing? Huh. I'm trying to think too.
Just kind of a tough guy, but not like a big imposing figure, because he's gonna do voice acting the whole time too. You don't pull Vin Diesel again to be in the.
No. But we did do a. Chris Evans went from Johnny Torch or whatever, Johnny Storm, to being, Captain America.
Johnny Storm is the Human Torch.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, Human Torch went to play Captain America.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can.
Yep.
I think you could do whatever you want. I mean,
Good promotion.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know who would play these people. I do think it's interesting if John Krasinski and Emily Blunt play Reed Richards and Sue Storm. Would be pretty cool.
I'd want the Human Torch. I think Johnny is Sue's younger brother.
Yes.
So it'd have to be someone younger than Emily Blunt. So
Are they twins?
Are they?
I don't think so. I think you're right, younger brother.
We're hurting on facts tonight.
Yeah.
No, you're right, younger brother.
But I'd like to. Okay.
You know what's funny is we're not actually hurting on facts. We're getting them correct. We're just not all on the same page on the facts.
Yeah.
Bring it up on the fly.
It's a late night. Good thing
Yeah.
this isn't coming out for like 3 days.
I'm blanking on a specific individual. I can't name like characteristics that I'd like to see in those characters, but
I know that somebody that could play like a Reed Richards might be good. Not John Krasinski necessarily. I think that Joe would be excited. Richard Madden. He played the Rob Stark. He played in The Bodyguard. He kind of looks like that guy Ian. What's his last name? Gaffield or whatever it is. The guy who played the original Reed Richards. Kind of has a similar look, hairdo.
okay.
Could be a guy. Yeah. Other than that, I have no idea. Especially the Thing, because you're right. I think the Thing doesn't have to have the look. He just has to have the voice.
Yeah.
And you have to have a specific voice.
Well, and do they do an origin story again? Because this would be the third origin story of the Fantastic Four.
I don't think you need to, because I think you could just go into like they did with Spider-Man. That yeah, kid, we get it. Like that we don't have to go through the uncle dying, every time.
Yep.
So definitely. I want an X-Men movie. I will tell you, I'm a bigger X-Men fan than I am of any other Marvel stuff. I want an X-Men movie. I want them to reboot it. I don't care if they give me origin stories of the X-Men.
Is there a story arc or individuals that you want to see in that movie?
Why don't they go through the Jubilee story? For the fans of the TV show.
Oh.
And make them rated R, like Logan. That'd be.
I don't think they're going to do that. But I think that because like with the
There's a Jubilee story.
So remember the like when we were kids growing up, the TV series, right?
Yeah.
So Jubilee in like the very first movie or first episode, like Night of the Sentinels, she's the one that like they discover that she's a mutant, and she basically goes to the mansion after almost getting killed by Sentinels. And so you're basically starting the story that the X-Men exist. They already are at Xavier's mansion, and they're trying to recruit or save the life of a girl who just discovered she is a mutant. And you have Trask, you have some of the same recyclable characters, but the Sentinels already exist. And they exist way more into a robotic form than into like a T-1000 Terminator form that they existed in, Days of Future Past.
I like that rendition of it, though. I didn't like the Mystique element of that.
Yeah, and you don't have Mystique in this. Like, you have the Storm, you have Rogue, you have Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Grey, so you have that triangle going on there. Yep. You also have Gambit and Beast. But Gambit, everybody wants Gambit. And that's fine. He's the Boba Fett of the X-Men universe. But you also get other characters that you can also play around with. You get Jubilee, and then you get this other character that not a lot of people maybe remember is Morph. And Morph was the guy that could change to anybody, and he's the one that dies.
He's like the male Mystique.
Yes, but he's a human. He's not blue, right? Yeah. But he gets killed in the first episode of the cartoon. And later on resurrected by Sinister, and he becomes evil, and he wants revenge on the X-Men, specifically like Wolverine, who is like one of his best friends. And so it's a way to incorporate the story, bring back the cartoon if you'd like, because it's a way to do that. But you have female-centric characters, which they're going to want, they're going to need. You still have all the main characters, but you're not basing it around Jennifer Lawrence before she gets so big and that doesn't want to be blue anymore. You know what I mean? Because that was the point. She didn't want to be in the makeup anymore.
Well, they screwed themselves when they chose to go down that path.
Sure.
So.
Well, you remember it was kind of interesting because it's kind of one of those things that Joe brought up last week about how the CGI in the cap onto Captain America, right? And the ironic part was it's because Chris Evans doesn't want to wear that stupid thing while they're filming. So he doesn't have to wear it while they're filming. They'll just CGI on it on him later.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence doesn't want to go through 5 hours of makeup later.
Yeah.
So she wants to be just Jennifer Lawrence and blend in, right? Her character doesn't want to be a mutant anymore. But there's just a lot of story there. And I think that X-Men would be a great way to reboot it because everybody loves the X-Men.
So I did read one story on a Logan spinoff. Only it carries on with Laura that you met in Logan.
The lady?
The little girl.
Yeah.
X-23,
yeah.
I think is what her comic book name is. But what do you think about that?
No.
You don't think it carries any weight?
No. No, I don't think she's bad. I mean
maybe it's a new actress to play that particular character when she's older.
I can get down on it just because I liked Logan.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, like if we're just switching to a female character to check the box, fine. But like everybody loves Wolverine. Like Wolverine's what's gonna sell. Not that this lady wouldn't have a successful movie, but everybody wants Wolverine's character.
He's the golden goose of X-Men, just like Batman is to the DCU.
And he's the Iron Man. He's Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark. I'm not saying that the next Wolverine's going to be as good as Hugh Jackman is, but why couldn't Kit Harington play it?
Because he did say Logan was his last, right?
Right.
Well, Kit Harington's a lot shorter. That might fit the character better.
Right, because Wolverine's short.
Tiny, yeah.
Well,
you'd have to put on so much mass; it'd be disgusting.
I think that there's rumored or potential that you could have a Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, Wolverine Deadpool movie. Like there's been speculation of that. He would come out of retirement to play Wolverine one more time for that.
He's what? 50
That'd be so
now?
good.
Yeah. Well, they already were in Wolverine together, right?
Yeah.
The origin story, and he'd be in a Deadpool movie. But I don't. It's not that I don't think that lady was great in Logan because she was excellent. I mean, awesome.
She's an unbelievable actress.
She was brutal.
Yeah, and it was rated R, which is excellent choice.
When she cuts off that dude's head and comes carrying it outside, awesome scene. Like she was great.
So but again, that villain who played the villain?
I know who you're talking about, but yeah. But I'm saying that I think people want the Wolverine story. Like if we're just going to start checking boxes and changing every story to female story, okay. I do think that's going to hurt ratings. I do. And I think that we just need to keep good stories going. I don't think, like I said, I think you could do the original X-Men that I was talking about and have plenty of female characters in there with representation, right? I just think that you don't have to make it, and you can even make Jubilee the main character. It's a way to make a younger female the main center of the story, and you can have people like Cyclops and Logan be on the peripheral.
Boyd Holbrook,
Boyd Holbrook.
He was Donald Pierce. He was, I think, the detective in Narcos.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Netflix show.
He has some good lines. He's a funny character in that, in Logan. But, okay, of the Wolverine movies, the first two really kind of sucked. I mean, they're like guilty pleasures to watch.
Is it the
action-wise
one with like Liev Schreiber as the as Sabretooth?
Yep.
Okay.
In Origins, and then they faced the horrible Deadpool
Yeah.
rendition.
Yeah, like all.
And then in the second one, he
when they're in
faces the
Japan.
Silver Samurai.
Yeah, they're in Japan.
Yep. Along with.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, not great. But
No,
Logan almost won an award.
But the difference is Logan isn't
Academy
just
Award.
coming off of just those standalone movies. He's coming from the Bryan Singer X-Men series, which was successful.
Mm-hmm.
And his character was fleshed out there. So you didn't have to really dig deep for that character. We already knew the character from Hugh Jackman portraying him.
It's kind of easier for him to play a loner as a side character more so than carry the full weight of a movie on his own.
Right. But if you go back and watch the Bryan Singer, the first X-Men movie where he's he's bare knuckle boxing for money when he meets Rogue. I mean, that's a really neat origin story for him. And he just happens to end up in, the mansion after he gets attacked and gets saved by Storm and Cyclops.
Yeah.
That was a really good movie. I think people forget how good of a movie that was. Very successful. I think X-Men has some legs. I love the X-Men movies. I own them all. I bought them all except for I haven't seen Dark Phoenix yet because I'm afraid to see it because it's going to be so bad. But I think
complete the collection.
I know.
Man.
I know. But I mean, there's and the other thing is too. I know this sounds odd. Why don't we do you could do a younger kids version of the X-Men? Like
Live action?
You can make the kids like teenagers and do the same story and put them in school. Like you could make it, don't make it a movie, put it a TV series on Disney Plus. Make them teenagers, put them in school, have them get into trouble, have them save the day.
Don't they have like the Runaways and
I
some other
don't
stuff
know.
along
Maybe,
those
but
lines?
That'd be cool because I like seeing all the different mutants, all the different powers.
Yeah,
in
but
school.
But here's the thing though. Like these new mutants, the new show, the New Mutants and all the Runaways. The problem is I don't know their names. Would you give me a story about boy and girl wizards at Hogwarts, or do you want to give me Harry Potter? I know the Harry Potter name. I want that name. I want that story. I don't want the kids that are next to Harry Potter. I don't want the kids that are going to school and Logan's down the hall. I want the Logan story. Give me Wolverine as a teenager at X-Men
At Hogwarts.
At Hogwarts at Xavier's School for the Mutant Gifted people. I think there's something they could do there if they're rebooting things. But let's switch gears here from the MCU. So I watched Justice League yesterday, and I've seen this movie a couple times. First off, I want to say it's directed by Zack Snyder. So when we covered The Watchmen on our other podcast, Joe and I do, we talked about the montage at the very beginning of The Watchmen, which is the best part of the movie, right? With the Bob Dylan song coming on, Times Are Changing, and they do this great montage about all the different Minutemen going to The Watchmen and the issues of the day. There's a great montage, unbelievable montage with great music in Justice League about when Superman's dead. And they talk about how people are kind of going crazy and they're they're mourning him and all this stuff. And I just think that Zack Snyder doesn't get enough credit for montages because that was two excellent montages.
He's the montage king.
Yeah, I've only seen two of his montages, but they're great.
You'd crown him.
Yeah.
All
right. But let's talk Justice League. So DC gets a lot of crap because their movies comparatively to Marvel aren't really good. And I think that is a fair criticism. What I don't think is fair, though, is I think that the DC movies are actually not bad. I think that Batman vs. Superman was crap, but I think Wonder Woman was really good. I'm really excited for the next Wonder Woman. I thought Aquaman was really good. Saw that recently. I have not seen Shazam, so I can't speak to that, but I love Zachary Levi from Chuck. If you've never seen Chuck, go out and watch that. But Justice League, not bad. I mean, it's underrated. I think it's underrated. I think Ben Affleck is one of the best Batman. I think he played it great. I loved the Batman character because I'm not really a huge Batman fan because he's not a superhero. But that's what I loved about this movie is comparatively to everybody else in the Justice League, he's the guy doing the least amount of stuff in the movie because he has no power.
How do they survive so much?
Because I don't know.
Built that sweet suit in Batman v Superman.
Superior intellect.
And he's super rich.
Yeah. But I think that
Butler.
Who's the guy that plays Flash? Ezra something?
Ezra Miller?
Maybe.
I think it's Ezra Miller.
Super funny. Great. I thought obviously Gal Gadot Wonder Woman was awesome.
Then Affleck, he played Daredevil.
Yeah. Aquaman's in there. You know, Henry Cavill playing Superman, pretty good. I've not seen Man of Steel though. I didn't see the Superman movie.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I would take that. If you would like that much more than you would like Batman v Superman.
Well, Batman vs Superman sucked. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it because Jesse Eisenberg explained Lex Luthor, which doesn't make any sense. But I'll tell you what I don't like about where I think that these DC movies or
Where's it fall short?
The DC movies go wrong is so the premise of these huge mashup team ups are they have to have enough villains to fight, right? Like you have to have an army of villains for them to go through, like, you know, Creature X or whatever for them to beat up.
You need your cannon fodder.
Yeah, I felt like
Parademons.
Avengers 1 movie has way better cannon fodder than these little like look like the flying monkeys from the Wizard of Oz. These like bug creatures.
Yeah.
I don't know, just
But they feed off fear.
yeah, so stupid. But I'll tell you, it's Steppenwolf. The problem I have with the movie is Steppenwolf, who's the villain, because he's so CGI'd horribly. And I just felt like they should have had somebody play Steppenwolf, but have him be a human, like look like a human.
You know what my problem was? I don't understand his powers whatsoever.
I don't understand how he can just like zap down and grab a box. These 3 boxes, these mother boxes are looking for.
Yeah.
No matter where it's at, they're like, yeah, it's hidden in Atlantis or it's hidden in the Amazons or whatever it is. He can just like come out of nowhere and grab it and leave. I didn't understand. They're not hidden then. You know what I mean? It's not hidden. He can just pop in out of nowhere and grab it and leave. Because that's what he does. For 2 of them, he literally goes into wherever they're vaulted, just zaps in, grabs it, and leaves.
Like a jumper?
Yes. Steppenwolf pulled a Nightcrawler and just takes it and goes. I just didn't understand that power. I don't understand what his power is. And more importantly, again, he's horribly CGI'd.
Yeah.
And I feel like had he been a human that was just really powerful, then it would have been better.
Did they not? I mean, I'd be interested to know, did they not do like motion capture on an actual actor? Or did they 100% CGI him in there?
I don't.
Because I think that makes a huge difference to like, when your eye catches something, you realize when it's not a real movement.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't carry physical weight or the forces behind it.
Well,
that's what I feel like when I watch that movie too.
Their action isn't the best. Like, even though I liked Wonder Woman the movie, when Gal Gadot's fighting, I think it's Danny Houston is the villain. Like when he like powers up essentially, and they fight on this like watchtower thing.
Oh yeah, Ares.
It's really bad. Like the action is bad because the CGI is really bad. It's really campy, and I think that's where, even though I know that they're using CGI in Marvel, they just do it better. Like it's just a better version of the CGI
product, yeah.
You know, and I think that I know that they've been more successful with individual movies than they have with their team ups, right? So Shazam was more successful. Aquaman was good. Wonder Woman's really good. Like I think Wonder Woman's awesome. I put Wonder Woman up there with a lot of the Marvel movies. Same thing with Aquaman. I thought Aquaman was really good.
So consider this though: Marvel had X number of movies before they even attempted a team up.
Right.
That world building aspect. And the DCU just goes, we're going to team up almost right away.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a scene in this movie where they show like the previous Amazon, kind of like this team up of like Green Lantern people with their Green Lanterns and everything. And I know they're trying to like bring back a Green Lantern movie, which is fine.
Yes, they are.
You know, and Aquaman is good, but that's just because they took Aquaman, who was supposed to be my previous knowledge of Aquaman came from the Big Bang Theory TV show, and that he wore like the orange and the green suit and nobody liked him. So they basically took this guy, Jason Momoa, and they made him Aquaman, trying to make Aquaman like the Thor of this group. That's essentially what he is. He's their Thor, right? He's got the long hair, he's got the gruff voice, he's the strong guy.
Got the trident.
Yeah. He's just he's Thor. I don't know where they're gonna move this, if they're gonna like have Darkseid come in, which Darkseid is supposed to be like a better version of Thanos. Twitter had this awesome debate that I watched on Twitter the other day. It's Darkseid versus Thanos, and Darkseid won overwhelmingly in the Twitter comments about how Thanos could have all the Infinity Stones and Darkseid would just crush him.
Really?
So, but can you really bring in Darkseid now that Thanos was so successful with the Marvel Universe?
Sure.
Really?
I don't know like the broader universe of the DCEU. I don't even know Darkseid's powers all that well.
But a lot of the stuff that the Marvel's done is based off DCU stuff, right? Like DCU's existed longer than Marvel, I'm pretty sure. And
the comic books used to copy one another left and right.
But that's what I'm saying is Thanos is a complete, from my understanding, Thanos is a complete ripoff of Darkseid. And if Darkseid were to exist in like say the next Justice League movie, are people going to get excited for that because we just saw how successful Thanos was in Avengers Endgame?
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough because we haven't introduced super powerful characters, or we haven't developed them beyond like Superman, who carries the weight of the entire team essentially.
Well, that's the other thing too.
Flash is undeveloped. There's no Green Lantern Corps. Cyborg's just a young kid.
Good point. Because they're trying to do a cyborg movie. I don't want to see that.
So I looked at this list of like upcoming DCEUs, and I don't know if these almost all are speculative.
Yeah, they're
I
not.
have to imagine.
Right now, we don't know if they're getting made.
There's no way. Well, Suicide Squad 2.
Yes, it is. It's supposed to be
right?
in production. Yeah.
The Flash.
Okay.
The Trench, which I suppose is a spin-off
It's an
of
Aquaman.
Aquaman, right?
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen yet, so I had to look that one up. Aquaman 2, Cyborg, Green Lantern Corps, Batgirl, Nightwing, Justice League Dark.
Batgirl is coming. It's the Ruby
It
Rose.
is.
It's Ruby Rose.
Doesn't she have a show though?
She was on Orange is the New Black.
Okay.
But I think it's a movie. But that is coming because we've seen like there's been production pictures on it.
There's a couple in here on these last ones. Shazam 2, not that
Shazam but from my understanding, Shazam was one of their more successful movies.
Wow. Black Adam, which is Shazam's like number one enemy, which is now turned into an anti-hero in the comics.
I've heard like rumors of like The Rock playing that.
Yep.
So,
but the two I'm most excited for are Deathstroke.
Okay, so Joe Manganiello.
Yeah.
Right? But like we haven't seen anything of, was it Slade Wilson? Is that his name? We haven't seen anything since he popped in at the end of Justice League.
No, but a very down to earth.
It's not Justice League. Is it Justice League that he pops in at the end?
Yeah. Well, Jesse Eisenberg is trying to convince him that we have things to do or something like that.
You know, it's funny because I know that previous iterations of him were Gene Hackman in the Christopher Reeve movies, and then I personally liked Kevin Spacey with the Brown and Routh movie. I know Kevin Spacey is,
way better than Gene Hackman's version of.
But they're both way better than Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
At least you can say that he's believable. Like Jesse Eisenberg's looks like me.
Well, he looks like the dude that owns Facebook. I mean, that was like a perfect.
Right, it's Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg.
But I also heard Birds of
I've
Prey.
just now been flagged.
Well, they're doing a Harley
So
Quinn.
if I lose my Facebook page,
A Harley Quinn movie, Birds of Prey movie, right, with all like the females up there. They're more. The problem is like Iron Man. It was so great because Tony Stark's so funny. Batman's not funny. Like Tony Stark is Batman. Like they're the same. I mean, the same thing, right? They're a billionaire who doesn't have any superpowers. They just have their gadgets. But at least Tony Stark is funny. Bruce Wayne's not funny.
Yeah.
So you can't really play off his comedy because he doesn't have any. There's been rumors of a Alfred movie, like a Alfred story where he's like a mercenary.
They were doing a movie for it because they're doing a show on it.
Maybe it's the show I'm thinking of.
They're doing a show. He's coming out of like the World Wars.
Right. Well, in the
know
Gotham
that.
series, he's kind of a BA. So I mean, maybe it's going to work.
There was one other one that I wanted to mention, Lobo. So it's a supervillain that if you're not familiar with, I think is in the Superman universe. He's like a bounty hunter that just travels the universe and kills people. He's just a mercenary.
So he's like Cable.
He's like Cable, but he's absolutely the worst kind of person.
Better than Cable?
Yeah, I'd say
Like
better
if Lobo fought Cable, who would win?
Lobo.
Really?
Yep. Hands down.
Okay. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Lobo.
But if they do Man of Steel 2, like they've also alluded to, and then they jump into a Lobo, he's a very popular character.
Going back to Suicide Squad, I saw that Idris Elba was going to replace Will Smith.
Yes.
But then I just read just now that they're going to drop Deadshot, and they're just going to give Elba a new character.
Huh.
Supposedly.
Pick something new.
Yeah.
I wonder what character he's going to pick up for Suicide Squad then. That's probably a good decision.
Yeah.
Not to build on something that already kind of failed or was established.
He's a good actor, too. I like Idris.
jumping back to Birds of Prey. So I think that is has a very good chance to do well. And the reason I think that, they're bringing back Harley Quinn, or Margot Robbie, to play Harley Quinn, which fan favorite. You've got Black Canary, Batgirl, and Huntress are complete the set for the Birds of Prey. But you've got Ewan McGregor that's going to play Black Mask. And then another individual, Chris Messina, who was in Sharp Objects, playing Victor Saz. And if you know the Batman,
Victor Saz is the bald guy.
He's a bald guy that slashes his skin every time he kills somebody. So he has little tally marks all over
So it's like Killmonger.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Only not as cool.
Only cooler.
No, not as cool.
But
okay.
I think that movie could have a chance to be real successful.
Okay, so we kind of broke down some future going forward of some Marvels and stuff. But my question is, why do you guys think the DC was just not as successful as Marvel? Do you think they just didn't have it planned out as well? Because I know that hindsight is Marvel was fantastic because we did 22 films to get to the Endgame. That's true. But Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, maybe not as great. Thor 1 and 2, definitely not great. Like, they're not batting 1,000 here. They had some movies that sucked along the way. They just hit correctly when they should have. Like, even Avengers 2, not that great. Age of Ultron's not awesome. But Captain America 1, not great. Civil War was great. Winter Soldier was great. So what I'm saying, though, is they do these origin films and these origin series, and some of them are successful, some of them are not. But they also didn't do a team-up by movie 2. You know, they did 6, 7 movies before they got to Avengers 1. You think that's their problem? They didn't build these characters? They didn't give you a Cyborg movie prior to the Justice League?
I just don't... It's hard to say now in a point in time where, like, I didn't know the characters all that well. So I can't say that, like, people were aware of these individuals and you have to build their story up beforehand, more so on Marvel than you do on
That's true. I mean,
DC.
to be fair, I knew Batman and Superman better than I did anybody that was in Marvel, except for maybe the X-Men.
Yeah, I think it was extremely well planned out. They had a lot of confidence and faith and said, just hold out. You know, we'll continue being, like, moderately successful, but our big payout's going to be the end game, pun intended.
I agree. I think Avengers was so successful as a team up that movie made everything worth it to that point. Because if really Avengers probably doesn't do well, do you think you get Thor 3, considering how not successful the first two were?
Yeah. I think you just go, it's cyclical, right? Like, you origin story, and then you peak out.
Yeah.
And you hit Avengers number 1. Then you drop down again, and then you're, building up again. Moderately successful, and then you hit Avengers 2. It kind of explodes, and then you drop down, and then you keep doing...
Right, but I mean...
And you keep building slowly.
Had Avengers not been successful, let's say the movie didn't break records, do you get a Thor 3? Like, do they continue to go back to that well?
That's probably just to get the money. I feel like all those movies came out pretty back to back.
Right, but now that we have Thor 3, we're getting Thor 4, right? Like, I mean, because they're successful. That's why I don't want Matrix 4, because I don't want Matrix 5 and 6. Like, you're going to get Ant-Man and Wasp. Like, think about this. You're going to get not just Ant-Man, but then you got Ant-Man and Wasp. Like, Ant-Man's going to be a trilogy. Paul Rudd's great, but, like, Ant-Man is a trilogy? Why do we need a trilogy about Ant-Man?
It's amazing it's done as well as it has.
He's so funny, though. He's good. He's really good. But I don't know why
that's such a lame character.
I don't know why that's a trilogy.
Time for what it was.
Except for Walton Goggins was the villain in Ant-Man Wasp, by the way. So shout out to Goggs. But I mean, those are kind of those things where why are we doing trilogies of the Ant-Man? And why is that successful? More successful than, like, Superman versus Batman.
You know what we should do is actually see, like, cost of producing the movie versus box office.
Yeah.
And see, really, like, movie by movie, how successful each one was.
I will let
That'd be
you.
interesting.
I will let you do that.
And I will get on the intern to get on that right away.
We got 2 weeks before our next episode. You probably knock that out for us. I got faith.
I don't have that much free time.
They're gonna say I don't have much faith. Okay.
We'll see.
So, and obviously we can get Joe's opinion of why we think Marvel is better. So, Nelly, quick question then for you, because I know you haven't seen a lot of the Marvel or a lot of the DC. Somebody at home might be like, why do you guys have Nelly on this podcast? We love Nelly. Nelly just kind of just chills and just chimes in. So, Nelly, you're not going anywhere. But you've seen more Marvel than DC movies, correct?
Yeah.
Why? So, not necessarily being a fan of either genre or either, place or brand. Why do you think you've seen more Marvel than DC?
Honestly, because of Netflix. I think they were on Netflix. A lot of them were on
Okay,
Netflix.
no, but that's a good point though, because as we talked about, less people go into theaters and more people are doing streaming. I mean, Netflix, even though it might not be the best going forward, everybody has Netflix because it was the first, and all the Marvel stuff is on Netflix. So you've probably seen Avengers Endgame or Infinity War. You've probably seen Black Panther. You've probably seen Doctor Strange. Like, these movies exist on Netflix. There's no Batman vs Superman. No, most of those were on HBO though. HBO had some of the DC movies, but I think it's a good point though. You have access to them.
Plus, my kid, he likes the Marvel, so I'll
Okay.
watch them with him. So
Okay. Is he a DC fan?
hasn't brought it up so much. He just been watching Thor Ragnarok over and over again.
Jeez. But is he a fan of like Batman and Superman?
When he was younger, I mean, he's going to be 8 now, but now Captain America, Thor,
Okay.
mostly on that
You could say
phase.
like the DC, they make fun of it in Deadpool about how dark it is, right?
Yeah.
About how they do make it kind of dark and grungy and how the world's terrible. And,
That's just Gotham.
yeah, Batman's a real downer, and how Marvel like cracks jokes but it does have like a high emotional level too. It brings you up and down and up and down, but it's not particularly dark.
Right.
Dark.
I will say Justice League though they had funny moments. I mean, there were moments in Justice League that they had some levity there. I just think
Dry humor.
I just think it's more the villain was the issue. Another thing maybe was they had to bring Superman back, so maybe that dragged on the film a little bit. That had, they were teaming up for the first time in this particular film, or really the universe, and so Superman starts off. Justice League is, I don't know, he's not dead, but he's in some form of stasis where he's not alive, and they have to obviously bring him back in the movie. And so I feel like his absence through most of the film is noticeable. Now, when he comes back alive and they confront him, that is an awesome scene as he kicks the crap out of all of them.
Yes.
It is really a cool scene because he is so powerful.
I think they do play that well because according to his levels of power versus everybody else's
Right.
too.
I mean, because Wonder Woman isn't Wonder Woman arguably supposed to be an equal though to him?
Yeah, I mean, essentially just below what Superman.
Right.
is,
And but yeah, it worked. I mean, that was a really good part of the film. Probably the outside of the montage, which I like Zack Snyder montages. That was the best part of the movie, was his coming back and kicking the crap out of everybody.
Is Superwoman a thing? Is she an actual...
Wonder Woman.
No, I know, but is there... I thought they had a...
It is Supergirl's show.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's in the CW realm.
Is Arrow DC?
Yes. Yep. The Green Arrow is Hawkeye in Marvel.
Got it. See, maybe they should have...
And Nomar is Aquaman in the other universe. And
I don't know. It sounds lame. Okay.
yeah.
Well, before we let you guys out, let me ask you guys a question too. So I was watching a couple other movies this weekend. Maybe give you some time to think about this. There are 2 particular movies that I want to discuss that never got sequels that I always felt should have had sequels. Just to kind of end this is going to be recommendation corner, right? I recommend you watch these 2 movies and hope they get a sequel.
I want to watch the one you talked about beforehand.
Do you have any that are in your mind?
I couldn't think
I
of
couldn't
any.
think of one either.
Okay, so my 2 movies for you guys listening is Swordfish and The Italian Job. So the reason why I thought, well, first off, The Italian Job was always rumored to get the Brazilian Job.
No comment.
Oh, Nate, it's right there for you.
We talked about this.
It was
before.
right there for you.
I know, you put it up
So,
on the tee.
The Brazilian Job. No, Nate. So, I think even as far back as 2010, because Italian Job was back in 2002, 2003, 4, and they had talked about how the script just kept getting passed on because leadership kept changing. I think at Universal or something like that multiple times. But I mean, this was an awesome cast of people to put back together. Charlize Theron and Mark Wahlberg and Jason Statham and Mos Def and Seth Green and
Edward Norton, right?
He dies. He's
That's
the villain.
right. It's been a while.
Yeah, but I mean, all the characters essentially survive. So why not do another heist movie? Which we love heist movies. I just don't understand why this movie wasn't made. And then Swordfish. I always liked Swordfish. I thought John Travolta, maybe he's not making movies anymore after that really bad movie as Gotti. He was playing John Gotti, and it was really supposed to be bad.
I thought he was too busy with Scientology.
Yeah, it could be. But, now that Halle Berry came back in John Wick 3, and she's, maybe she's going to be a thing again.
Killing it.
Right. Obviously, people love Hugh Jackman. The fact that all of them, the three main people survived at the end of Swordfish, I never understood why they didn't make a sequel for that movie. Because at the end of the movie, you see that
spoiler alert, here it comes.
You see that John Travolta and Halle Berry survive, and they're on that ship, and there's things that they're blowing things up in the distance. I didn't understand why they didn't bring it in as a terrorist thing with bringing back Hugh Jackman. Those are two movies that I always felt deserved a sequel that never got it. So, do you guys, again, after that, have any idea of a movie that you thought should have got a sequel that never did?
Grease 2 should have led to Grease 3.
Jesus.
Grease,
Nelly?
Lightning,
I'm still drawing a blank.
Roadster.
I mean, think about this, though. There are movies like Sniper 5. There are movies that,
I know.
Or The Substitute 4. There's movies that get sequels in, third, fourth installments.
Straight to DVDs.
Yeah, and I'm like... We
Sister Act 3.
We can't get the Brazilian Job?
What, the
You
BJ?
can,
Yes. About time.
I couldn't bring myself to do it. Thanks, Nelly.
Tiger Woods over here teeing it
That's
up.
what I'm here
you.
for.
But, no. You guys have anything to recommend for them for this 2-week break?
No, something about Halle Berry on John Wick. Her and Keanu Reeves. I see videos of them on Instagram. Always at it's called Terran Tactical. They're always out there training. So they got the gun handling skills, doing 3-gun, AR, shotty, and pistol, and they kill it.
Nice.
So they know. A little fun fact for you.
I don't know if I shared this on last episode or 2 episodes ago, but I started watching Mindhunter.
Yeah.
Season 2. Still really enjoying that. That's kind of my cup of tea, is understanding the psychology about serial killers and how they operate and stuff. It's interesting to me. So
what channel is that
it's
on?
cool.
It's
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did mention that because I mentioned
David Fincher production, I think, right? So isn't he the one that's doing it, David Fincher?
I'm not sure.
I think he is.
There's quite a few actors from The Fringe. If you ever watched that show, sci-fi film, kind of like the X-Files. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been watching Succession, the second season, and it's excellent. I mean, it's the best show on TV right now. And the first season was hit or miss. It was good, was okay. But this first season, I can't miss it. I mean, the second season, every episode's amazing. But upcoming, so there's another show that started on HBO 2 weeks ago called The Righteous Gemstones, Danny McBride trilogy, right? But this particular episode coming up tonight is Walton Goggins pops in as Baby Billy, I think is his name. And if you haven't seen the preview of this show on HBO, he looks like Ric Flair, and he's running he's like a priest in the mall. It's like a shop. It's like a mall shop for religion. And, you can buy jeans and you can buy Jesus. So tune into The Righteous Gemstones. I'm excited. I haven't seen this episode yet, but it's going to be amazing. I'm going to watch that tomorrow. But like I said, Succession right now, it's can't miss. It's the best thing going on TV right now. So, Nelly, you got anything for them?
I'm looking forward for Homeland. Sad it's going to be the last season, but I can't wait for that to come back.
Talk about a throwback. I haven't seen. I'm on season
catch up on
5.
that.
I know.
Oh.
That's the one. So
season 2.
Do you guys
it's
ever?
so good.
Do you guys? Yeah, it's so good though. Do you guys ever have trouble watching I used to watch a TV show with my fiance all the time. Okay, we used to watch Castle. We watched Homeland before got 5 seasons ahead of us. We used to watch TV. Now we don't watch any TV together because I'm watching good TV and she watches trash.
Yeah.
And
it's like
the Bachelor.
compromising, and you're like, neither of you really want to watch the show.
Yeah.
I'm trying to watch 90 Day Fiance.
I'm not trying to watch The Challenge or The Bachelor, all this other stuff. But that particular show was one we always watched, and I always wanted to finish it, but she won't let me watch it. If I watched Homeland without her, we're not getting married. Like, that's the show where she's like, if you want to watch this, you'll make time.
My wife stopped watching after like season 2. Spoiler: after Brody dies.
You just had to throw that in there, like you could have just stopped.
Well, the best part about the spoiler is it's season 3, not 2. Throw them curveball. Anyways, again, we won't be back next week, so this will come out Wednesday. So again, we're recording it Monday. So if anything breaks, sorry, we're not covering it for 2 weeks, but we'll be back after that. You guys have any last thoughts?
No.
Okay.
Appreciate any feedback you can give to us.
Go out there, give us a 5-star rating, give us a review. The reviews on iTunes are great. Hit the subscribe button. We'd obviously like to hear from you guys. Get us on Twitter at Alien and Cowboy. Email us questions, comments, concerns. If you want to yell about Nate, aliensandcowboys@gmail.com.
If you don't like Garrett's face, tell us about it.
So it's why we don't record this or we don't film it. But also in the meantime, I know when we come back too from honeymoon, not when we come back, Joe and I, but when I come back, Joe and I are going to get together and film the V for Vendetta review for the Watchmen for Nixon podcast.
You're going to record it. You're not going to film it, right?
I don't know what we're doing. It's like 12 o'clock.
It's up
right
to
now.
Joe.
Yeah, it's pretty late. But go out there again, subscribe, hit the 5-star button, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell Nate's mom. But we'll be back with you guys in 2 weeks. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.